The wind howled across the frozen valley as Logan Vance trudged through the knee-deep snow of Viela 7, a remote and icy world on the edge of charted space. A human scout on a standard resource survey mission, Logan expected isolation, maybe a mineral scan or two. Instead, he found something else entirely. As he approached a narrow pass, his scanner blared a warning about an incoming blizzard. He changed course, heading for a mapped cave shelter 15 minutes east, but something in the snow made him stop. A strange shape, partially buried, not natural. He brushed aside the snow and froze. A girl, not human, pale blue skin marked with silver patterns, tangled hair coated in frost. Clutched in her arms was a small, fox-like creature with glowing blue eyes. She was barely breathing. Logan didn't hesitate. He wrapped his emergency thermal blanket around her and the creature and lifted her into his arms. She was light, too light. She hadn't eaten in days. He carried her toward the cave, every step a struggle against the rising storm. Inside the cave, Logan activated a heat lamp and heater. He laid the girl on his sleeping mat, added more blankets, and administered nutrient serum. The creature, still silent, watched him with cautious eyes. Slowly she stirred, her eyes opened, silver-flecked and filled with confusion. When she whispered, "Tick," the creature chirped and curled beside her. She looked at Logan and said, "You human?" He nodded. "Logan from Earth." She whispered her name, Yazara. Part 2, Warmth and Trust. Over the next few days, Yazara regained strength. Logan learned she had fled her home. Her people had rejected her for refusing to abandon Tick. Her mother, part of the royal house, considered the creature shameful. "They left me to die," she said, eyes filled with pain. Logan shared stories of Earth, cities, oceans, laughter. Yazara described crystal towers and shimmering forests. Though their worlds were different, their hearts began to align. When she flinched at distant noises, Logan reassured her, "You're safe here." But safety wouldn't last. One night, Yazara awoke with a start. "They're coming," she whispered, "hunters from my world." Logan nodded, "We'll be ready." Together they set traps, planned defenses, and trained. Yazara learned to move silently, to hide, to fight. She wasn't just surviving, she was becoming someone new. Part 3, The Fight for Freedom. The hunters came, silent, armored, relentless. Yazara stood beside Logan as their leader demanded, "Return the girl and the creature." "I'm not property," Yazara declared. "I choose to live." Logan raised a hand. "She stays with me." Battle erupted. Logan used terrain and traps. Yazara moved swiftly, aided by Tick, who darted between foes, distracting and delaying. They fought side by side, and together they won. The hunters fled, defeated by unity and courage. As they caught their breath, Yazara whispered, "Thank you." Logan smiled, "We saved each other." Part 4, The Journey Forward. They moved deeper into the mountains, toward a hidden cave known only to Logan. It would be safer, at least for now. Inside, they shared quiet conversations. Yazara told stories of her home, her fears, and her dreams. She wanted to see Earth, to belong somewhere. Logan sent a signal to Earth Command. Help was coming. But so were the hunters. A second wave landed near their cave, heavily armed, determined. Logan and Yazara fought again, side by side. Human resolve and alien determination. Tick, as always, fierce and loyal. When the battle ended, they had won again. Logan turned to her. "You fought bravely." "So did you," she whispered. Together, they prepared for the final step of their journey. Part 5, A New Home. A human rescue ship arrived, responding to Logan's signal. They welcomed Yazara and Tick aboard. "Your DNA shows potential," the commander said. "Your people may evolve through you. We will protect you." On Earth's Sanctuary Station, Yazara was met with kindness. She worked with scientists, shared her knowledge, learned new ideas. Tick was a star of curiosity and comfort. But peace didn't last. Her people found her again. They attacked the station. This time, humans and aliens stood together. Yazara fought with them, offering insight and support. Tick darted and distracted. Logan fought by her side. They won. A ceremony was held in her honor. She was a symbol of unity. Logan asked, "Do you miss your home?" "Yes," she said, "but this is my home now." "And your family?" She smiled, "I'm building one here." The stars glittered outside the window as they stood together, hand in hand. Whatever the galaxy held next, they would face it together. Over the next few days, Yazara regained her strength. The heater and nutrient packs worked, and Logan made sure she was never cold or hungry. Tick, the strange creature she called her friend, rarely left her side. Logan noticed how closely the two were bonded, not just pet and owner, but something deeper, like siblings or kindred spirits. Yazara began to speak more each day. Her accent was soft and musical, her sentences clipped but thoughtful. She told Logan about her world, a planet of tall crystal towers and vast, glowing forests. Her people were strict, governed by ancient laws and even older prejudices. Tick, she said, was a forbidden species. To keep one was considered shameful. "They left me in the cold because I refused to give him up," she whispered one night, her arms wrapped tightly around Tick. "Even my mother, even she wanted me gone." Logan felt a sharp pang of anger on her behalf. "No one deserves that." She blinked at him. "But you saved me, why?" "Because you were alone and afraid, and no one should be left to die in the snow." The silence stretched between them, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was warm, filled with quiet understanding. On the third night, the wind outside grew louder. Logan stepped outside to check the sky and returned with a worried expression. "Another storm is coming, stronger. We need to seal the cave entrance." Together, they piled rocks, used thermal gel to bind cracks, and reinforced the walls with folded heat blankets. Yazara worked with focus, her fingers nimble despite the cold. It was the first time Logan saw her not just as someone in need, but as someone capable. Afterward, she sat near the heater, her cheeks flushed from the work. "You are strange," she said suddenly. "Most humans fear us." "Not all of us," Logan replied, handing her a hot drink. She sipped and watched the flames flicker. "My people think emotion is weakness. They say compassion makes you soft." "Compassion makes you human," Logan said, and then smiled. "Even if you aren't." She smiled too, a small, hesitant thing. The next day, Yazara began asking questions about Earth, about cities and oceans and forests, about how humans loved and lived. Logan showed her images on his scanner, tall skyscrapers glowing at night, children laughing in fields, beaches under twin suns. "Your world is loud," she said, "but beautiful." Logan asked about hers. She told him of palace halls filled with music, of gardens that shimmered under violet moons, and of traditions carved in memory since birth. But she also told him about isolation, about being different, about how no one wanted to hear her voice. "But Tick listened," she said, "and now you do too." She reached for his hand, just briefly. Her fingers were colder than his, but the gesture carried warmth. On the fourth night, Logan heard her cry out in her sleep. He rushed to her side, finding her curled tightly, whispering words in a language he didn't know. Tick was pawing gently at her cheek. "It's all right," Logan said, kneeling beside her. "You're safe, it was just a dream." She blinked at him, her eyes wet. "They were dragging me away, my family, my guards, they had chains." Logan placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "They can't reach you here, I promise." That night, she didn't return to her sleeping mat. She fell asleep leaning against his side, with Tick between them. Logan stayed awake for a while, listening to the howling wind and feeling the small weight of trust resting against him. In the morning, she was the first to speak. "Logan," she said softly, "do all humans care this much for strangers?" He shrugged. "Maybe not all, but maybe we should." The storm outside worsened. For 2 days, they couldn't leave the cave. They played simple games, told stories, and repaired gear. Yazara was especially fascinated with human technology. She asked questions, learned fast, and even managed to fix one of Logan's malfunctioning signal boosters. "You're a natural," he said. "I was always curious," she said, "but curiosity is discouraged." When the storm finally broke, the world outside was transformed. Thick snow blanketed every surface. Sunlight bounced off the ice, turning the valley into a glowing expanse. Yazara stood at the entrance, Tick at her feet, awestruck. "This is the first time I've seen something so free." Logan came up beside her. "You deserve freedom and a future." She turned to him, her voice was steady. "They will come for me, for Tick. They won't let me go." "Then we'll be ready," Logan said, resting a hand on the hilt of his blade. She looked at him with new eyes then, not just as her rescuer, but as her companion, someone who stood by her not because he had to, but because he chose to. "Thank you, Logan," she said. "I don't know what the stars have planned for me, but I'm glad they brought me to you." Part 3, The Fight for Freedom. The hunters came, silent, armored, relentless. The hunters came, silent, armored, relentless. Shadows moved along the ridgelines above the cave, barely visible beneath the swirling wind. Logan spotted the first glint of armor through his thermal goggles, confirming his fear. They were closing in. Ysera sat near the heater, holding Tick tightly. Her eyes met Logan's, and she nodded without a word. She had known this moment would come. Logan moved quickly. He had laid traps around the cave the day before, crude but effective. Tripwires woven from filament wire, small charges buried under loose snow, and nets ready to spring from overhangs. It wouldn't stop them all, but it might slow them. The first alarm triggered with a shrill buzz. A shadowed figure cried out, caught in a binding net that launched upward into a tree. Logan peered through the slit in the cave entrance. "There's at least 7, he muttered. Maybe more." "They won't stop," Ysera said. "My people never stop when they want something." Logan checked his pulse rifle. Half charge, not ideal. He handed Ysera a shock baton. "Stay behind cover. If they get close, use this. Don't hesitate." She nodded, though her hands trembled. The next wave came faster. Energy bolts lit the snow. Logan fired, catching one in the shoulder. Another fell into a pit trap, howling. Ysera crouched behind the rock wall, Tick growling softly beside her. One of the hunters broke through the perimeter and lunged toward her. She swung the baton instinctively, striking the attacker's armored mask. Sparks burst, and he crumpled. Logan saw it. "Nice hit." "I didn't think," she breathed. "Don't think, just protect yourself, and Tick." For 20 minutes the battle raged. The hunters were skilled but unfamiliar with the terrain. Logan used every advantage: smoke grenades to blind, echo decoys to mislead, and the snowy terrain itself to hide. Ysera backed him up, moving supplies, calling out warnings, helping reset traps when possible. As the fight wore on, the hunters began to falter. They hadn't expected a human scout to be so well prepared, or a girl like Ysera to stand her ground. Their leader, a tall alien woman in blue-black armor, stepped forward. Her voice rang out across the snowy field. "Return the girl. This is not your concern, human." Logan stepped into view, weapon lowered but ready. "It became my concern the moment you left her to die." "She is bound by our law." "Then your law is broken." In that moment everything paused. The snowfall thickened, the wind howled. Then the leader raised her hand. The hunters surged forward. Logan fired. Chaos erupted again. This time Ysera fought beside him, not hiding, not hesitating. She moved with determination, guiding Tick to distract, throwing flash pellets Logan had taught her to use. One hunter cornered her, but she ducked low, sliding across the snow and shocking him in the back. Another chased Tick, who led him right into a trap. Logan and the leader met near the ridge. She struck fast, dual blades flashing. Logan parried with his rifle, then drew his combat knife. Their clash was fierce, precise. But Logan had something she didn't, something to fight for. He disarmed her with a calculated feint and pinned her to the icy ground. "Call them off," he demanded. "Never." Then she looked up and saw Ysera standing above her, baton charged. "Stop," Ysera said. "This ends now." There was a pause. The hunter leader looked between them. Then with a grunt she nodded. The remaining hunters retreated, carrying their wounded. Ysera exhaled deeply, trembling. Tick ran to her, nuzzling her chest. Logan approached. "You okay?" "Yes," she whispered. "We did it." He offered his hand. She took it. Together, they watched the hunters vanish into the snow. The battle was over, for now. Inside the cave, they tended their wounds. Logan helped clean a cut on her arm, and she wrapped a bandage around his ribs. "I never thought I could fight like that," she said. "You had it in you the whole time. You just needed someone to believe in you." She looked at him, eyes shining. "Thank you, Logan, for everything." He smiled softly. "We're not done yet, but we made it through this, together." As the sun began to rise over the frozen ridges, casting golden light over the snow, Ysera leaned against him. Tick curled in her lap. The wind had quieted. The worst was behind them, but the future still waited. With the hunters gone, a fragile peace settled over the cave. Logan and Yazara used the morning to gather their scattered supplies, resetting traps in case of another attack and melting snow for water. Tick, always alert, paced the edge of the cave and sniffed at the air. Though the skies were clear, Logan felt a tension that hadn't lifted. Yazara stood quietly at the entrance, staring into the bright expanse of the snow-blind world. The sun caught the silver patterns on her cheeks, highlighting the solemn expression on her face. Logan approached her side. "We can't stay here forever," he said. "I know," she replied. "They'll come back, and next time they won't just retreat." Logan nodded. "There's a better shelter a few kilometers east, tucked behind a frozen waterfall, almost invisible unless you know where to look." "Then we should go." Packing was quick. They took only what they could carry: survival gear, food rations, a few weapons. Tick rode in Yazara's pack, occasionally popping his head out to chirp and sniff the air. As they traveled, Yazara began to open up more. Walking beside Logan through the snowfields and icy ridges seemed to ease the fear that had followed her. She asked more questions about Earth, about its people, its customs. "Do humans always protect each other this way?" she asked, glancing sideways. "Not always," Logan admitted. "But some of us try. We believe in helping those who need it, especially when they've been left behind. I was always taught that weakness should be left behind, that showing mercy makes you vulnerable." "Maybe," Logan said thoughtfully, "but love and loyalty, they're not weaknesses, they're the reason we fight, the reason we survive." She was silent for a while, then she whispered, "You sound like someone from a story, someone unreal." He smiled. "I'm just a scout who didn't turn away." When they finally reached the hidden cave, it was just as Logan remembered. The waterfall had frozen solid over time, concealing a deep crevice behind it. They slipped through and found a wide chamber inside, shielded from the wind, warmer than the last. There, with a fire crackling and Tick nestled between their sleeping mats, Yazara told him the full truth. "I was meant to inherit part of the royal lineage, not the throne but a position of counsel. My mother expected perfection. I broke that when I found Tick." She looked at the sleeping creature. "They said he was a mutant, an abomination. But he saved me once when I was young, and I couldn't abandon him." Logan listened, saying nothing. "They gave me a choice, exile or obedience. I ran, but I never thought someone like you would find me, care." "You matter, Yazara," Logan said. "Your life, your choices, even your pain, it all matters, and Tick too." She looked into his eyes, searching. "Do you really believe that, even if the galaxy does?" "Especially then," he said. That night, under the warmth of the fire, they lay side by side, not touching but close enough to feel each other's breath. The next morning brought change. Logan picked up a weak signal on his emergency comm. A human ship, Earth Command. They had received his earlier distress beacon and were en route. "Rescue is coming," he told Yazara. "A diplomatic ship, they'll help us, they'll take you somewhere safe." Her expression was torn. "But what if they see me the same way, a problem, a risk?" "They won't," Logan said gently. "I'll speak for you and I'll stay with you." Tears welled in her eyes, not from fear but from something deeper, belief, trust. Just before the ship arrived, Yazara handed him a small crystal. "This was from my home," she said. "A part of me, and now it's yours too." Logan took it reverently. "Then it means I carry a part of you with me, always." The sleek Earth ship landed in a clearing nearby, its blue lights cutting through the snowstorm. The ramp lowered, and uniformed figures stepped out, weapons lowered, scanners raised. Logan stepped forward. "Logan Vance, Scout Division, this is Yazara. She's under my protection. We request asylum." The commander nodded. "You've both been through a lot. You're safe now." As they boarded the ship, Yazara looked back one last time at the snow-covered wilderness. "I thought this planet would be my grave," she whispered. Logan took her hand. "It was the place we survived, together." She smiled softly. Tick purred in her arms, and the ship lifted, carrying them toward a future neither of them could have imagined. The ship cut through the atmosphere with a quiet hum, the stars growing larger in the viewing window as it ascended away from the frozen surface of Viella 7. Inside, the hum of energy fields and systems created a calm, constant rhythm. Yazara sat quietly beside Logan in the passenger bay, wrapped in a warm, human-issued blanket, with Tick nestled in her arms. Her eyes followed the stars, curious, distant, longing. We'll be at the sanctuary station in a few hours, Logan said softly. It's neutral ground, part science hub, part diplomatic embassy. You'll be safe there. She nodded, but her fingers curled tighter around Tick. Do you trust them, your people? Logan looked her in the eye. I trust those who believe in peace, in giving second chances. I trust the ones who show compassion, and they'll see you for who you are, not just what you come from. The ship touched down at the sanctuary hours later. Towering spires of metal and glass reached into the sky, glowing with soft blues and greens. Hundreds of species passed through the corridors, all coexisting in carefully maintained peace. Ysara was examined by doctors, questioned by cultural liaisons, and interviewed by a team of scientists who showed interest in her physiology and her bond with Tick. But all were gentle, respectful. Logan stayed by her side through it all. You don't have to stay, she said one night, sitting beside him on a bench that overlooked the station's arboretum. I want to, he said simply. Days passed. She began helping the Xenobiology Division understand the unique empathic connection between her species and certain non-sentient creatures like Tick. The scientists were fascinated, but more than that, they were kind. For the first time, Ysara didn't feel like an outcast. Then came the threat. Station alarms blared, red lights pulsed. Logan was on his feet immediately, pulling Ysara close. What is it? She asked. A ship approached the perimeter without clearance. It's her people. They must have tracked us here. They won't take me, she said fiercely. I won't let them. The sanctuary prepared its defenses. A mix of human soldiers and alien allies stood guard. Logan was given a rifle. Ysara stayed behind the line, but not idle. She coordinated with security, sharing what she knew about her people's tactics and likely weaknesses. When the attackers tried to breach the docking ring, the defenders were ready. Logan led a defense squad, fighting with precision and fury. From her place near the command center, Ysara guided movements, calming those who panicked, making decisions that saved lives. At the end of the brief but violent assault, the attackers were driven back. The sanctuary held. In the aftermath, the station commander, a calm, gray-skinned woman named Asheville, met with Ysara and Logan. Your courage helped save lives today, she said. You've proven you belong here, and more than that, you've helped us understand something new. You are more than just a guest. You are an ambassador. Ysara blinked. An ambassador, me. Asheville nodded. Your experiences, your knowledge, your strength, they matter. We want to give you a voice. A ceremony followed. Ysara stood beside Logan as dignitaries from dozens of worlds gathered in the Great Hall. Dressed in a simple gown of white and silver, she addressed them not with royal titles or rehearsed speeches, but with honesty. I am Ysara, she said. I was born into a world that punished me for kindness. I was abandoned for choosing love over tradition. But a human found me. He wrapped me in his coat and gave me warmth when the world offered me none. I am alive because someone believed I deserved to be, and now I will spend my life helping others believe the same. The applause was quiet, respectful, and deeply real. Later that night, she and Logan stood by the observation window of their new quarters, gazing at the stars. Do you think your people will come again? Logan asked. Maybe, she said, but I won't run anymore, and I won't be alone. Never, Logan said, taking her hand. She turned to him, eyes glowing with reflected starlight. I think I love you. He smiled. I think I've known that for a while. Tick chirped and curled between them, content. And in the silent eternity beyond the glass, the stars burned brighter, as if they too had heard the beginning of something new.